In this box is about the coolest bench vise you're ever going to find. There's even an aftermarket. In this video, we're going to get it out of the box, get it mounted, and do a quick demo. Gavin here from UltimateReloader.com. The other day I was talking with my friends over at Area 419 and they said you've got to get your hands on an Orange Bench Vise. These things are like the best bench vise out there. So that's what I did. Turns out they make some really cool gunsmithing jaws that use the dovetail. You can swap out the jaws on this thing really easily and they retain themselves. Really cool system. And hopefully I'll try those jaws later. In the meantime, let's get this bench vise out of the box, check out the specs, and get it mounted. There she is. Wow, I just feel like I've come a really long way since I used to love to squeeze things and pound on things with my dad's bench vise in the garage. This thing is not for that. This is a precision vise. It's for precision clamping. It's for the versatility that you get with these dovetail jaws, these soft jaws that can be adapted to a number of purposes. And the packaging was really well thought out. It's got the sort of in-place molded foam. It was completely wrapped in plastic. Took a little while to get it out of that, but of course it's gonna be unscathed when it gets here. And then to assemble the vise, there's just one thing, is to put the handle through. Each end of the handle has this cap nut that you can remove. So it's basically just taking this handle, inserting it, and then adding the nut on the other end. And what I wanted to do is just walk through the specs. This is all on the website. So if you go to that URL in the video description, you're going to get all this information here. So when the jaws are closed, there's this interesting formula here. An eighth turn additional gives you 750 pounds of clamping force. A quarter turn gives you 1,500 pounds, and 3/8 turns gives you 2,250 pounds. That is some serious clamping force, and a half turn is 3,000 pounds, which is max. And that's just a limitation of the thrust bearing. So let's talk about the construction a little bit. We've got the steel main screw. You can see the end of it here. That's the gold color. There's a ball bearing that's a thrust bearing right behind this cap here on the end. On the other end, there's a steel slide nut. So it slides in this precision cradle, if you will, and then it's got the thrust bearing on the end that handles the clamping force. There's a wiper seal in here, which is nice. It's not going to ingest a bunch of dust and grit that's going to cause wear. The piston is hardened to Rockwell 60, which is going to have it glide in those bearings and prevent wear. It's titanium nitrided. That's this gold finish. Really, really cool stuff. And the handle also, this is 440C stainless, hardened to 60 Rockwell as well, and it's precision ground. You can see that on the surface here. It's really, really nicely machined. This entire vise is like a piece of artwork, but it's also a precision tool that's going to take your clamping to the next level. Now, this is not a cheap vise. These are over $1,000. I think they're somewhere around $1,500, $1,600 depending. And that actually is not that outrageous of a price. If you look at some of the cast iron vises that come out of China or other places, you're up close to that anyways. This is a whole new level of precision in construction as well. So if you're looking for an affordable bench vise, this is not for you. If you're looking for a bench vise that's absolutely at the top of the quality spectrum and is made in USA, this is definitely worth a look, and it's got a lifetime warranty as well. So with that construction, you know, this is a one-time investment, you know, pay once, cry once kind of a thing. So there's this dovetail interface, which is really cool, and you can machine them. We're thinking about different things we can do, maybe even 3D printing some soft jaws for particular applications, which would be kind of cool if we did some 3D laser scanning and then printed, you know, the impression of a pistol slide or a pistol grip, something like that. Lots of other ideas as well. And I did mention that Area 419 has gunsmithing jaws. which you can use as a barrel vise. And these master jaws are relocatable. There's a hole back here you can see. You can put the rear jaw back there for extra capacity. The entire vise tilts, which is a part of its construction, and it comes with the swivel base, which is really, really cool. So you can increase the capacity as 5 inches over here, but if you put it on the back hole, it goes up to 12 inches. That could come in real handy. I really like that idea. Okay, so that's kind of a high-level overview of the Orange Bench Vise. Next, I'm going to do a temporary mounting job, probably on one of my doubled-up plywood plates that works with the Ultimate Reloader bench system. I'm going to get going on that next. Well, I'm done. I got the vise mounted, and it was really easy. I loosened the side screws on this base block, and that releases the pull stud. The entire vise comes off the base block at that point. There's 4 bolt holes. I used a transfer punch on this plate that I found back in our storage room. This is 2 3/4 inch pieces of plywood that are laminated together with glue and also screwed. It's actually very rigid, and I thought this would be a great way to mount this vise. So I got the base block exactly where I wanted it, and I used a transfer punch to locate where I needed to drill for those holes. I drilled with a small drill bit first, flipped the base plate over, and used a Forstner bit to kind of countersink on the backside for my washer and for my nuts. I had to shorten 4 cap screws, 3/8/16, on the lathe. My Precision Matthews TL1660 got them to just the right length so that they could drop down through the top. These are made for cap screws, this base block here. There's a counterboard area for it. And then I made them so that they wouldn't quite protrude down out the back, but they would be back about 50 thousandths of an inch from that. Okay, so I had counterbored the plate on the back side. I flipped it back over and drilled through with a 1/32 over a 3/8 hole, so I'd have a little bit of slop and free play to get those bolts through, because I'm drilling in wood. You know, I'm used to machining metal and, you know, tapping the holes and having the bolts come down through. So gave myself a little bit of breathing room, dropped the bolts through the base block, through the holes, put the washers and nuts in place, and tightened it down with a satisfying crackling sound of the wood being compressed, and secured the base plate to the Ultimate Reloader bench system with these 4 3/8/16 nuts coming up through the bottom. These are steel tracks, 8 inches on center. I was then able to put a little grease down on the base block. I dropped the vise back down and then tightened down these pull stud bolts. And when you do that, it will secure the vise in place. So now the vise is secured in place, and if we want, we can loosen the clamp, and we can tilt the vise. It's really cool. It goes down a full 90 in one direction, and you get a little bit in the other direction as well. So that's going to be really nice if I need to hang, say, a rifle pointing towards the floor, and I want to have the jaws, you know, in a different orientation. Doesn't take much tightening force there to clamp those down. And then also I wanted to show you how these jaws are held in place. This is really cool. You just take an Allen key from the top here, and as you loosen it, you can see that's spring loaded. It's pushing the block up. And then if we release pressure on the jaw, it's literally just going to pop out. And you can see there's a little locating stud there. To put it back in, we just kind of get it so that that stud is in place. And then I'm not going to tighten this. I'm going to back it off just a little bit. You can use the other jaw to kind of hold it just roughly in place while we tighten these. And that's going to use the dovetail to kind of suck it in place and locate it perfectly. So we'll tighten those down just a little bit as well, and we're good to go. This vise is, it is so smooth. It's very satisfying to just open it and close it. I cannot wait to start using this for gunsmithing projects, and I really do want to get those Area 419 jaws for it so that I can use it as a barrel vise. And I've got all sorts of other ideas as well for different material jaws that I want to make, you know, soft jaws made out of maybe even a combination of rubber and plastic, which you can do with a 3D printer. That'd be cool to experiment with. And then Orange sells replacement soft jaw sets so that you can machine them for different tasks. As you saw, it's very quick to swap these out. All sorts of ideas brewing in my head. And then we can also use this giant cap screw here to take the rear jaw off and to locate it in this threaded hole right here so that we have that full 12-inch capacity. There are times when I need that 12-inch capacity, like for instance, my plates, some of these are 12 by 12. I could actually hold that in the jaws while I'm drilling and tapping, or, you know, who knows what. So I'm really excited about the Orange Vise. Again, this is an ultra premium product. This is not a budget product. It's not an everyday product. This is something for someone that wants the absolute best tools for the job. And that's not everybody. But if that is you, you really need to look at the Orange Vise. Now, do you have an Orange Vise? Have you customized it? What are you using it for? I would love to know. Drop a comment and we'll start a discussion. Now, expect to see this vise in upcoming gunsmithing and related stories. You're going to want to make sure that you're subscribed with notifications. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. If you're interested in custom rifles like what we build here on the channel or gunsmithing services, you're going to want to go to rifles.ultimatereloader.com and get on the wait list. If you're interested in becoming a professional gunsmith, check out the Sonoran Desert Institute. They've got a degree program, they've got a certificate program, and you can study from home. Learn more at sdi.edu. Thanks again for watching.